Hello lovelies, welcome to our channel Universal Movies. Today, I'm going to explain an adventure, fantasy and romance film called The King's Daughter. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Marie-Josèphe is the daughter of King Louis XIV, but her existence has to be kept a secret, so she was raised in seclusion in a convent. The nuns taking care of her try to keep her sheltered from the outside world, but she would often escape to swim in the sea. The head abbess once burned her cello and kept her from riding her horse to deter her, but she kept going there despite the cruel punishments. In Versailles, Louis returns victorious to the palace after a long and expensive war. While delivering his victory speech, an assassin shoots him. Fortunately, the wound is not fatal, and he is able to get back on his horse to continue his speech. Despite the king's display of valor, the incident has caused him to realize that he's not immortal. Later, Dr. Labarthe treats his wound and tells him that there might be a way to make him live forever. He asserts that the key to immortality can be found in an organ of a legendary sea creature. Soon, Louis commissions fishermen to find the lost city of Atlantis to capture a mermaid. When Captain Yves de la Croix spots the creature, he asks his men to throw the nets and ignite barrels of explosives in the water. The fishermen soon pull their net into the ship and find out they've caught two mermaids. Yves realizes that the other one is male, so he instructs his men to release him because they only need the female. Afterward, Yves sends carrier pigeons to Versailles to inform them that they successfully captured a mermaid. Upon hearing the news, Labarthe tells Louis that they need to sacrifice the mermaid during the upcoming solar eclipse so the king can gain eternal life. The king's closest minister, Father Père Lachaise, is skeptical about Labarthe's claims, but Louis deduces that the doctor will not risk his reputation if he doesn't believe what he's saying. Lachaise sends a message to the convent to invite Marie-Josèphe to the palace to attend the celebration of the eclipse. Soon after getting a response, Lachaise goes to the convent to retrieve the king's estranged daughter. The head abbess warns Lachaise that Marie-Josèphe has become rebellious, but the priest is only concerned whether her musical talent is good enough to be welcomed in court. Soon, Marie-Josèphe leaves the convent with Lachaise and heads to Versailles. Upon her arrival, she is introduced to a young servant named Magali. Later, Louis wakes up to music performed by court musicians, but he finds it boring, so he asks Lachaise to find a new composer right away. As Magali takes Marie-Josèphe to her room, she surmises that Marie-Josèphe must have done something important because she got her private quarters so quickly. Although the room doesn't look like much, Marie-Josèphe is quite happy with it, especially when she sees the view outside. Meanwhile, Lachaise shows the king the last musical piece Marie-Josèphe wrote at the convent. After taking a brief look at the sheet music, Louis points out that his daughter has talent despite her lack of formal training. Louis tells Lachaise that he will meet Marie-Josèphe the next day, but he instructs him to keep anyone from knowing that she's his daughter. The next morning, Jean-Michel Lintillac, a son of a baron, visits Louis at the palace to present him with a gift for his upcoming birthday. When Louis asks Lintillac about his father, Lintillac notes that the baron is ready to pass into the next world. After Lintillac leaves, Lachaise suggests that Louis may have use for Lintillac because he will inherit a great fortune. As Marie-Josèphe makes her way to the king's court later that day, she notices that everyone is staring at her. Magali notes that she has become an object of intrigue since the king requested her presence. While waiting for the king, Marie-Josèphe admires an elegant statue on a fountain. Just as the king arrives, Marie-Josèphe falls into the fountain after getting distracted by a burst of water. After Magali and Lintillac pull her out of the fountain, Louis puts his coat over her and tells her that many others have fallen out of balance because of the statue. As the king turns to leave, he instructs Lachaise to move Marie-Josèphe to a room within the chateau. Magali and Marie-Josèphe soon move into their new quarters, where they find numerous musical instruments and expensive dresses. When Magali asks which object she'd pick if she can only have one, Marie-Josèphe notes that she prefers the cello because it represents her freedom. That same day, Yves and his men take the mermaid into an artificial cave the king had built to confine the creature. Yves explains to the fishermen that the structure is connected to an underground river that brings water from the ocean. Back in the chateau, the king comes across a book recounting that the female mermaid has fallen into a lethargic trance after being separated from the male. Labarthe, however, dismisses it as a drunken seaman's commentary. When the king comes to see the mermaid, Yves informs them that the creature is at the bottom of the water because it is weak and traumatized by the journey. Louis asks Yves to help the mermaid recover before the eclipse. He promises to grant Yves a royal pardon if he succeeds, but he assures him that he will be punished horribly if he fails. While Marie-Josèphe is trying to compose music in her room, she hears extraordinary music outside. She immediately leaves the chateau with her cello to locate the source of the music. Soon, Marie-Josèphe reaches the cave and sees the mermaid. As the mermaid tries to communicate with her, Yves arrives and grabs Marie-Josèphe. When he asks what she's doing there, Marie-Josèphe explains that the mermaid called out to her with her music. Marie-Josèphe then tells Yves that she wants to use the mermaid's music so the king and the whole world can hear it. As Marie-Josèphe plays her cello, the mermaid responds by singing along. The following day, Marie-Josèphe and the court musicians perform the music inspired by the mermaid to wake up the king. Louis is pleased with the music and remarks that it's something that he's never heard before. He tells La Chaise to invite Marie-Josèphe to the grand ball that will be held later that night. When Marie-Josèphe arrives at the ball, the women stare at her with envy because of her unique look. Louis asks Lintillac to dance with her, but Marie-Josèphe notes that she doesn't know how. The king teaches her, and it goes well for a while until Louis lets go of Marie-Josèphe's hand when he remembers how he once danced with her mother. That night, Marie-Josèphe visits the mermaid to tell her about the ball. When Yves arrives, the mermaid hides, so Marie-Josèphe tells him that the creature is scared of him because he feeds her dead fish. Marie-Josèphe then tells Yves that she likes being in the cave because she loves the water. She notes that she spent a lot of time by the sea because it's the only place she could go to escape from her prison in the convent. Later, Labarthe tells Louis that he has confirmed that a life force emanates from the mermaid's heart. He then reveals his plan to drain the water from the cave and kill the creature to harvest her organ. The next day, Marie-Josèphe finds Louis drawing a picture of a woman in the garden. Louis tells her that the statue in the fountain represents Louise de la Vallière, a woman he used to draw. He notes that no other woman reminds him of Louise except for Marie-Josèphe. Soon, Lintillac's father dies, so Louis announces he will be appointed duke during the celebration of the solar eclipse. That night, Yves and the fishermen tell the king and members of the nobility about their encounter with barracudas in the sea. When Yves notes that they fled from the barracuda, Lintillac remarks that they're either cowards or weaklings because they didn't kill their prey. The two men almost get into a fight when Yves calls Lintillac a fool for only seeing two choices, but Louis stops them. In the morning, Yves and Marie-Josèphe go horseback riding around the palace and come across Lintillac and his friends shooting ducks. When Marie-Josèphe asks why he hates Lintillac, Yves reveals that Lintillac accused him of theft and had him arrested when he delivered goods for them some time ago. Suddenly, Marie-Josèphe races Yves along the woods, but she hits a tree branch when she gets distracted by a gunshot. When Labarthe examines her, he learns that her arm is badly broken. He proposes to amputate it, claiming that it's the prescribed procedure, but Marie-Josèphe refuses. Later that night, the mermaid tells Yves that she wants to help Marie-Josèphe, so Yves sneaks into her room and carries her to the cave. Soon after Yves puts Marie-Josèphe in the water, the mermaid swims in circles around her while releasing her life force. By morning, Marie-Josèphe can play with court musicians as if her arm was never injured. Later, Marie-Josèphe tells Louis that the mermaid healed her injury and even gave her the ability to breathe underwater for a moment. Labarthe contends that it's incontrovertible proof of the mermaid's powers. Marie-Josèphe deduces that the king must have brought the mermaid to Versailles because he's ill. However, Louis contends that he's in perfect health and claims that he brought the creature there for the old servants of France. Marie-Josèphe showers him with praise, thinking he'll use the mermaid's power to heal the common people. She asks if he intends to release the mermaid after healing the sick, but Louis gives her a vague response, saying the creature will end up where God intends her to be. That same day, Yves tells Marie-Josèphe that the king brought the mermaid there for himself, not for France. However, Marie-Josèphe still believes that Louis has good intentions for the mermaid. Later, Yves takes Marie-Josèphe to the side of Versailles, where fishermen like him live. At the lighthouse, Yves tells her that his dream is to sail away from Versailles. When he asks Marie-Josèphe about her dream, she tells him that she wants the mermaid to be released so she can come with her. Yves then takes Marie-Josèphe to the Temple of Love, an exquisite structure in the middle of a garden. As he explains the history of the structure, Marie-Josèphe suddenly kisses him. In the palace, Louis asks Lintillac to accept Marie-Joséphe's hand in marriage and reveals that she's his daughter. In response, Lintillac gladly tells the king that he will be honored to marry her. The following day, Louis gives Marie-Josèphe a pendant with her mother's picture and hints that he and her mother were together until she decided to abandon court life. Louis then reveals that her mother went to the convent and died in childbirth. When Marie-Josèphe realizes that he's her father, Louis confesses that he's been terrible and selfish because he cared more about France than her. Despite acknowledging his shortcomings, Louis asks Marie-Josèphe to make a sacrifice for the country and marry Lintillac for his money. Marie-Josèphe expresses her objections, but Louis tells her that it's an order that she must obey. One night, Chaise visits the mermaid and realizes that she's a sentient being with a soul. He later tells Labarthe that he will condemn the king to eternal damnation if they kill the mermaid to avoid death. When Marie-Josèphe tries to leave her room that night, she finds out there's a guard outside, so she goes out through the window to visit the mermaid. Upon reaching the cave, the creature shows her the memories of her capture to reveal that she left her baby to another mermaid before she got caught. During a meeting with the king, Chaise warns him that he will commit a mortal sin if he kills the mermaid. Louis, however, thinks that God has allowed him to capture the mermaid so he can continue leading France. That same night, Yves and his friends sneak into Labarthe's room and discover papers indicating that he'll kill the mermaid. Later, his friend lures a guard outside Marie-Joséphe's room so he can slip one of the papers under the door. Labarthe catches Yves and instructs a guard to lock him up, but he's unaware of the paper he put in Marie-Joséphe's room. When Marie-Josèphe returns to her room, she finds the paper and realizes that Labarthe intends to kill the mermaid. On the day of the eclipse, Marie-Josèphe confronts the king and tells him that she will only marry Lintillac if he releases the mermaid back into the sea. However, Louis refuses to negotiate and instructs musketeers to take Marie-Josèphe back to her room to prepare for the wedding. Later that day, Labarthe asks Yves to drain the water in the cave, so he can prepare to sacrifice the mermaid. Meanwhile, Marie-Josèphe asks Chaise to help her escape from her room to see the creature. Chaise leaves her for a while so she can get into her wedding dress. Upon his return, Chaise convinces a guard to let Marie-Josèphe go by claiming that he will be taking her to confession. When Marie-Josèphe arrives in the cave, she sees Yves preparing to drain the water. Yves is reluctant to do it, but he notes that he and his friends will die if they don't obey the orders. When Yves learns that Marie-Josèphe is defying the king by refusing to marry Lintillac, he decides to help her release the mermaid. He instructs the other fishermen to set sail for the cliff of Le Havre immediately to prepare for their escape. Marie-Josèphe and Yves activate the water wheels to drain water from the chateau so the mermaid can get over the wall and go through the underground river. Soon, Labarthe arrives at the cave with guards to stop them from helping the mermaid. While Yves is climbing a water wheel, a guard shoots at him, so Yves swings on a rope to slam into the guard and knock him out. Afterward, he grabs the guard's gun and uses it to kill another man attempting to shoot him. Yves then goes after Labarthe and catches up to him on a small bridge. As they struggle to subdue each other, Labarthe manages to take control of the gun and shoot him. Yves and Labarthe both fall into the water, but Labarthe soon emerges, hanging on to the water wheel. He tries to attack Marie-Josèphe, but she knees him in the groin and hits him in the head with a chain. Marie-Josèphe then asks the mermaid to take Yves with her and flee. Soon, Labarthe gets up, but his foot gets caught in a rope. Marie-Josèphe grabs a hook at the end of the rope and attaches it to the water wheel, which pulls the doctor into the water. Before long, Marie-Josèphe sees the mermaid jumping over the wall while carrying Yves. Moments later, Marie-Josèphe leaves the cave and heads to the cliff of Le Havre on horseback. When Louis learns about her escape, he immediately heads to the cliffs with his guards and orders his ships to intercept the fishermen. Soon, Marie-Josèphe reaches the edge of the cliff and discovers that the king's ships are already there to block the fishermen. When Louis and his men arrive, Marie-Josèphe threatens to jump if they attempt to take her. She expresses her disappointment in her father because she thinks he doesn't care about her, but Louis asks her to give him a chance to prove her wrong. Suddenly, the mermaid emerges from a tunnel with Yves, who has now fully recovered from his wound. As the moon starts to cover the sun, Louis orders his musketeers to prepare to shoot the mermaid. Marie-Josèphe tells him that he can kill the mermaid to gain eternal life, but if he lets her live, the creature will save her when she jumps. After dropping the pendant Louis gave to her, Marie-Josèphe jumps off the cliff. Louis orders the musketeers to stand down to allow the mermaid to heal Marie-Josèphe. After seeing that Marie-Josèphe has recovered, the mermaid quickly flees. Chaise tells Louis that he has always been a great king, but he has become a great man for what he just did. As he watches Marie-Josèphe and Yves swim to the fisherman's ship, he asks his musketeers to signal his fleet to retreat. Yves and Marie-Josèphe go on to search for the lost city of Atlantis to reunite with the mermaid. Upon reaching the sunken city, Marie-Josèphe dives into the water and finds the mermaid with her child. Before long, the mermaid lets Marie-Josèphe ride on her back to take her on a tour of the magical city. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.